Hello there, this is I Go Travel with Don Barnett. We are here in Regina, Saskatchewan at the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the R.C.M.P. Training Center and Academy. And we're going to go inside that building and just take a look around. So follow me. The museum is a National Historic Site and is certainly worth a visit. Canada's National Police Force has slightly changed its name since its inception in 1873. First called the Northwest Mounted Police, its name was changed to the Royal Northwest Mounted Police. And in 1920, the name was changed to its present name of the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Mounties, as the police frequently are called, deal with federal law matters in all of the provinces. Three of the provinces have their own police force: Quebec, Ontario, and Newfoundland, Labrador. At one time, the provinces of Alberta and BC had their own provincial police force, but that is no longer the case. Larger cities often have their own city police forces, while the RCMP contract out their police services to many less populated sections of the big country. This old police beechcraft catches your eye on the front lawn of the museum headquarters. Today, the RCMP Air Division has over 40 airplanes and helicopters. Police aircraft provide surveillance, transport prisoners, carry supplies and personnel to remote locations, and participate in emergency flights. Police land transportation is evident at the museum in these modern police cars, and look at this old one here. Could carry several policemen. And these are some old 1930s, I'm guessing, maybe 1940s police cars. And the police used motorcycles. In many ways, the motorcycle replaced horses. And in the far north, the snowmobile. First ones were skidoos. And they used dog teams before this snowmobiles. And there's quite a display in the museum of transportation in the north. I really enjoyed the section of the museum in Regina that told about the police experiences in the high Arctic, because my wife and I worked in the high Arctic in an Inuit community off the Arctic coast. And she painted a picture, and the picture is just to my left here. And you can see the white polar bear skin drying on a rack up beside of a building. And over to the right a bit, you see the fella there kind of walking with looks like a stick in his hand. Well, that was Blind Charlie, and he had drunk methyl hydrate years before, and it blinded him. It should have killed him, but it just blinded him. And so he had a stick, and he would bang the garbage tins through town as he made his way toward the one and only store in town, the Hudson Bay store. And the kids saw what Charlie was coming, and so they would go ahead of Charlie, and they would move the garbage tins, and they'd have Charlie turn a corner, and he was walking out of town, not toward the Hudson Bay store. The kids got a great chuckle out of that, but the police had to deal with all kinds of situations, and they kept an eye out for Blind Charlie as well. I wanted to tell you another story about the police in that high Arctic community where we worked in. That community had a one-sheet of ice curling rink in a Quonset building with a round roof. That sheet of curling ice was a very popular thing. Remember, the Arctic is total darkness over the winter. So any social event like card playing, music, visiting, and curling was a welcome event to help break up the long, dark days. One night, the policeman, one of the policemen, was curling, and they heard an airplane above. And the ice that had formed from condensation inside the building fell from the roof onto the curling rink, onto the curling ice. And everyone panicked, and they just flattened right out on the ice, thinking that an airplane was going to crash into the building. And then they ran outside to see where the airplane was, where they expected to see a crashed airplane. They saw nothing. Well, they went back in and they started to play. And about a half hour later, the same thing happened. A roar overhead. Icicles again clattered off the roof and onto the floor. Everyone flattened out again on the ice for safety, in panic. This time, when they ran out, expecting to see a crashed airplane somewhere, the policeman noticed a guy getting off of his snowmobile and going into his house. So the policeman went over there and said, what were you doing? Well, the guy, in the wintertime, the wind blows the snow right up to the rooftops, and it had blown the snow up to the one side of this curling rink, and the guy on his snowmobile went zooming across the snow and over the snowbank up to the rooftop, and then he jumped the skidoo, the snowmobile, through the air and landed. And it was kind of a thrilling ride, and he was having a bit of fun. But the policeman didn't think it was so much fun. So the policeman gave the guy a ticket for dangerous driving, and the guy lost his driver's license for a year, which meant that when he went to the outside, to Calgary or Edmonton, wherever his home was, he was not able to drive his car for 1 year. I guess that's what happens when you're having too much fun. The museum also had a display of various kinds of guns that the police have used, past and present. Also, quite a display of handcuffs, different types. And this cannon affair never used other than for demonstration purposes. The Mounties have worn different headgear. The first was the pillbox cap on the left there, and in this picture here. And it was replaced by the lower right in the picture, that kind of a pointed hat, this one here on this policeman. This is an actual size in the museum. Initial color of the police uniforms was a bright red. It was soon recognized as a welcome new presence to Indigenous people, as it symbolized the Queen Victoria and Great Britain and fair and just and compassionate treatment by government forces. And the bright red uniforms also distinguished the Mounties from the blue uniforms of American soldiers, often sent to subdue and kill men, women, and children of tribal members in the U.S. I repeat, such violent atrocities did not happen in Canada. This photo in the museum is of the Mounties' long-term famous musical ride. The pattern moving of horses has both a national and international reputation. It requires tight control, timing, and coordination. The horses are jet black, contrasting with the red uniforms of their riders. It is quite a show. The horses are selected on the basis of quiet temperament, lots of spirit, and dependability. This horse is Nero, a stuffed horse in the museum. He was famous for knowing all of the formations and set an example for the other horses to follow. His black coat has turned this brown color over the years due to exposure to the light and the effects of taxidermy chemicals. Near the end, we stopped by the museum's tourist shop to buy a few souvenirs. This is a big statue just outside the front door. The mounted police are a unique Canadian icon. If you get a chance, stop by the museum here in Regina. Well, we had a fine time in the city of Regina, Saskatchewan, and we're rolling on down the trail. Hit the subscribe button and that'll tell you when we're putting more videos on the internet. Until then, we'll see ya down the trail. Adios for now. This is I Go Travel with Don Barnett. If you want to find more videos as we travel around the country, just do what it says there in the middle. Google the little @ sign, my name, and a number. @ Don Barnett 5090. Click my name and then click on to playlists in the middle of the page and scroll down. Each playlist contains several travel videos.